Thank you guys for actually spending this time with me. Playing games, playing World of Darkness really does mean a lot to me. And I want to thank you all for sticking it out, hanging in there through all the many downs and deeper downs, as well as the few ups that we've had over the last couple of seasons. There's several quotes out there in the world about man needing fantasies, needing stories to exist, and this and all of the other episodes that we've played, as well as all the other nights that I get opportunity to play, reinforce that ideal. So, for the record, this is officially In the Shadow of the White City, Season 5, Episode 1. Chaos was the law of nature. When we last left our coterie, they had managed to arrive in time to make an entrance just before the criminally minded, at least as most of the officiants and members of the Senate and the gathered kindred of all ages have been led to believe. Naomi, who assassinated, murdered, killed their secret hand within the Hakata of the South Suburbs. Naomi, who played the Senate for their own ends. Naomi, who, unlike the bulk, the 90% of the kindred of the South Suburbs, is not specifically local to Thornton Township. Naomi has a seat upon the Garuja of Chicago, the gleaming gem of the Camarilla. This sojourn here as part of the Senate is a franchising of her power as far as most are concerned. She brings that big city sophistication as to how the patricians need to operate. And as one of the 3 known patricians in the South Suburbs, she is by far the most powerful. Not simply because of her ties to Chicago, but because she, unlike most, work through her various businesses with the Hakata, while the Hakata and members of the necromantic guilds, the independents, hold sway over the spiritual well-being of the kind of the city, of the village, of the area, of the township. Naomi tends to their physical needs, their wayward children, the women who have been lost and cast aside, those who are homeless due to mistakes of their own or others choosing, those who are rebuilding themselves from the various foibles of life, and simply those who have been dealt a bad hand. She has several shelters throughout Thornton and Chicago, and she uses that in connection in cooperation with the various churches and missionaries across the village. So as the coterie arrived, Geneva, standing before the gathered assemblage of the Senate, their retainers, we all understand why we are here. But as is our way and has been our way, we are not heathens. We are not mass murderers. We are not feudal lords. We are a community. And though I would seek a quick, a swift measure of justice for our now lost, potentially former Senator Jack, and for the potential fallout, because it has been brought to my attention of several other potentially nefarious activities that our Naomi has been party to and part of. As is always our way, we will hear Naomi out, we will hear the evidence, and as a community, we will decide whether Naomi remains part of us, whether she will be shunned, or whether justice demands more. I thank you all for showing, for doing your civic duties, and for bearing witness to what may transpire. In evidence of Naomi's nefarious activities, it's been brought to my attention that there is, well, experience is the best teacher. And with that, she produces a small little envelope. If you would be so kind as to carefully handle this, do not partake, merely notice. And she hands the bag down to Dia, who sits closest to the stage. These items were found in Jack's possession. We've had several independent investigations done into their disappearance and death. One of our investigators is party to and part of our newest senator's cabinet. Are one of the few warlocks of the south suburbs, Detective McClarion. If you'll stand, Detective. And Seth stands up. And the moment that he stands up, no, that's not right. Fuck that. He's part of the new senators. They profited. Whatever he says is automatically tainted. A decorum, please. Well, in that case, being as the view has already been put forth, do we have a second on that feeling, on that emotion, on that thought? There's a few hands that go up. The few hands that immediately go up are both View and Felix. Very well. We will not hear from Detective McClarion this time.
Hey, wait. I've known Seth for a long time. He ain't ever lied.
And who are you? Yes, who are you indeed? Are you even one of us or merely a servant? Gentlemen, please. He is part of our newest senator's cabinet, so he does have a voice here. He is part of the community, no matter how faint. And you are?
I'm Frost. A ghoul, yes, but I ain't nobody's servant.
I see. It's a positively modern ideal, isn't it? You are aware that at once upon a time there was no such word as ghoul as you recognize it. You were a slave. And while many of us have lived through those times and arrived here in the modern age, many of those sentiments still hold true. To whom are you leashed, Frost?
For the moment, Seth.
Oh, for the moment, I see. So you're defending your master, your dominator. Your loyalty is respected and understood. However, there are too many ties of connection that state that your beliefs may be influenced. We do want to thank you for your voicing opinion and taking part in this great noble republic of ours. We do have
respectfully, and goes back to eyeing everything and listening.
We have had the motion seconded, so we will move on. We do, however, also have our security advisor, Mr. Mitchell. And I'm sure that those of us here who have witnessed his years of service would not consider to impugn his honor. Dwayne steps forward onto the stage. And Dia, you were saying?
Yeah, that Frost spoke up, and but says nothing because they already knew something like that was going to happen, and they have no qualms. They rather not be seen as having made anything sway in one direction or not. So they'd actually rather have recused their cabinet member from this whole situation. And it was done for them, so they don't care. But then, as Dwayne steps up, their brow kind of goes up, and they're taking the time that all this is going on to look in the envelope. And as soon as they see what's in it, it's a oh shit moment because they remember what Seth said about this specific powder, and they very quickly pass it along.
Yeah, the closest senator to you is in fact Felix and View. They look at the powder. They don't even bother to open it. They just look you in the face as they pass it along. Dwayne's debriefing is very precise. He uses very carefully worded phrases. Never outright says that Jack had been involved in something illegal or something toward to the village as a whole, merely that their personal ties and connections to Naomi have been brought to light, and they were involved in an unknown number of personal issues that could have ramifications for the village as a whole. And to that end, they produce the pictures of the crash site where Jack's remains had been found near. Those of you who had known of Jack and remembered their car and how they operated, how they dressed even, know that that very much is their vehicle. The signs of struggle are a little bit less than obvious, but those of you who take the time to really look at the photos could tell that the crash does not seem to be one of natural clumsiness or incidents. The brief bits of dried vitae upon the ground are very hard to ignore. The upturned files and folders and all sorts of things that don't quite seem normally traveled in one's vehicles are again another thing that's hard to not notice. And so it proceeds like this for roughly 15-20 minutes as one after another person outlines Naomi's connections to Jack, and that based on information found at the scene, including a message to Naomi, that it appears as if Naomi had hired ne'er-do-wells or had it done through one of her other human resources, which is a risk in and of itself. Now, the first 15-20 minutes, everything moves along at pace. Everything is right on track. The information presented without any bias, just the facts of the case. Certain hypotheses and opinions are expressed but they're lampshaded with knowledge this is that person's personal idea, not pertinent to the facts as presented. However, somewhere around the 25-minute mark, the tenor of the witnesses change. And you all notice that Rob gets nervous in his seat, which is harder to discern from a man his size who's pretty good about just frowning away any of the emotion. There's a small twitch at the corner of his lip as coming to the stage in front of everyone are two bikers, full-on die-hard late 60s early 70s style biker. The denim jackets, the denim battle cuts, the denim that has seen better days, the boots that have scraped across. Most of America still carries that dirt with them. And Rob begins to thrum his fingers across his knee, like he's preparing for a fight as quietly as one can. But you all who have managed to spend the last few days with him, getting to know him, are immediately aware that that is not a very good situation. And then it begins. Well, Jack ain't the only one that with a shaded past and doing dirt. The new senators got their head enforcer there. He was drummed out of the Wolfpack, and you all know the Wolfpack are the Archons. They are the letter of the law for the tower. Yet, if someone like him can be part of your little thing here, then I don't see what was wrong with Jack and whatever it was they were doing. Why it's painted negatively. Whatever wrong they were doing can't be worse than what the newest senator's bodyguard got up to all those years ago.
Me or Rob?
Everyone looks towards Rob. His bulk and his girth, hard to miss.
Dia clears their throat and looks at the stage. I don't believe we've been introduced. You know about me, but I know nothing. And you seem to think that ongoing villainy is the same as having in your past wild. I'm sure you've done wild in the past. You would not wish to have hold over your head now, correct? I'm sure everyone in this room has done things when they were young, free, and that they would not wish brought up in court.
Well, my name's Ernie, and yeah, everybody's done some dirt. But my point is, ain't nobody here done did the dirty shit against one of their own kind. All eyes go to you all. Oh my indeed, says viewer, further underscoring just how vile what they're hinting at actually is. Rob looks at each of you all, knowing that oration and oratory isn't his skills. His skill set is considerably more visceral. So he rolls his shoulder. He stands. I'm not going to address that. Whatever I did, whenever I did, whatever I didn't do, no one here's business. Past is the past for a reason. And speaking of our kind, well, my kind, which you're clearly not, would settle any issues directly. Kindred to kindred, lick to lick. This attempting to take out Dia by trying to make me look like a fool. Cowardly. And it comes as a surprise. It's like magic. It's only as he stops moving forward at the edge of the stage that does everyone realize that with each word he had been easing closer to the stage.
Am I gonna have to put down Rob?
Now, you all want to open your mouths more directly, or you want to just go ahead and get off the fucking stage? See, This is the sort of person that you all allowed in your. And as soon as they say that, Rob grabs him by the leg and slams him into the stage by pulling his legs from underneath him.
I quickly glance at Seth to see like if I got permission to shut this down, because this is not going to be good for reputation of us.
As Frost looks and waits for Seth to make a decision, as Seth opens his mouth to speak on the matter, Dwayne is already there. There is a stake resting against the center of Rob's back. It would take a whole heap of amount of strength to drive that stake through his spine, but the surety on Dwayne's face doesn't brook any challenge. You do well to respect your senator's position. Please return to your seat. Clearly,
Jack stares wildly at what he's witnessing. Just starts shaking his head, thinking to himself that this could be going a lot better than it is.
You with that stake, yeah, this ain't the place. Rob turns around and saunters back to his seat. Ernie pulls himself up off the stage. Dwayne looks at them, looks at Rob, and moves back away from the stage, keeping an eye on both parties as Ernie and his friend exit the stage. Jennifer smiles. Well, we clearly have some raised emotions. Let's adjourn for a few moments so that cooler heads can prevail. There are, of course, refreshments, donors, and those who simply will give in the back recesses of the club. And with that, she nods to Naomi and moves from the stage. Making her way around those gathered, nodding here, shaking hands there, bearing a word here, she finally ends up near Dia and her cabinet. Well, this was not part of the plan, but it seems as if it may be necessary. I have prepared several defenses to obviate any besmirching of your reputation. However, the biggest shield you could have would be your own efforts, much as you managed during your ascension. This is also another feeling out of what you bring to the table. And then she looks at Frost. Thank you for your attempt to defend your Domitor. Your loyalty really does shine brightly on your senator. And then she looks at Rob. If you need to vent your aggression, you need to do so quickly before others intercede. A half measure is far worse than a bad one. Otherwise, refreshments really are available. And I know, Dia, there's a certain style of refreshment you need. All the same, enjoy our respite, and I'll see you all shortly. And she disappears back into the crowd, glad handing and making their way across the floor. Jennifer never addresses leaning one way or the other. Most people would be hard-pressed to denote which end of the spectrum, or if they are even part of the spectrum normally. However, tonight they have their hair plaited down their back in the most feminine of styles, their strong jaw offset with a near Hollywood level makeup to obfuscate it. Their curves highlighted. And while they're not dressed in the most sensual or sexual of manners, it is clear that they are presenting the feminine version of themselves. This evening to titillate and distract, some would say.
Dia waits till all the others have left and that it's just them and their group. Because this is not a way to behave, obviously. So once Geneva has left, so the others have left, she stands smoothly, turns precisely, and looks back at Rob. I would appreciate that in spaces involve ourselves in the cups and means of defense, you allow me to defend what is mine. You, by virtue of my cabinet, don't wish to you, but in matters of reputation, I am lead. Understand they inside you. Very much I understand you. And they are. But today, inside, was not place for this little show of you could have waited and put it outside when they least expected it. You still have time to do so. If you just happen to slip off somewhere, do what you need to do, then I have no problem. Just don't get caught.
Yeah, well, you know how to dance at parties like this. I know how not to take any shit. They were fronting you off by trying to front me off. Nobody fronts me off. And the only way to deal with someone doing something stupid like that is right then and immediately. You let them get away with it once, they'll come for your head.
Well, obviously, my lesson forgotten. But anyway, like I said, it's neither here nor there. You got a stake to your back. If you're going to handle it, do so now. If you are not going to handle it, then leave it the fuck alone.
My point was made. Just like they tried to make theirs. But you got it.
Looking at Frost, I also appreciate you, Seth, but do you understand that by being involved, it very much looks like I have my fingers stirring the pot. I would rather them have taken him off, even though I know he's impeccable at what he does. I'm glad he was there to invest. I'd rather him, and they can't say that I had direct leaning one way or the other as to how things come out. I'm already being made some sort of suspicion of because of how this all went down. And Zach, thank you for being so far the one ounce of stability that I've had this evening. So, good job.
Well, no. I had to make myself useful in some measure. This is far from my area of expertise.
Frost, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your wits plus firearm from the plate? And Dia, while you're speaking to your captain and keeping things on lock, getting your team together, pulling everyone up by the short and curlies, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your wits plus subterfuge? Was my mic muted at that point?
Sorry, I meant to say guns plus wits, but I said guns plus firearms, which is the same thing.
You know what you didn't mean?
Well, there's a preparation for mischief that everybody has. It varies from person to person, but it always starts with discongruent facial expressions and body movements, micro expressions. The body gives itself away as it's preparing even the dead bodies who no longer have those many of the same chemical cocktails flooding their systems. But the memory of those very living ideal and the memory of the responses and preparation still take place and take hold. Frost, the bikers left, they were unarmed. They came back and they're armed. Dia, the two servers moving through the crowd at the back of the room, offering glasses and bags and various aperitifs of the blood variety, are keeping an eye on Rob or you or your cabinet. It's 4 times where they flick their gaze not only in your direction, but as if they're weighing and measuring what's happening.
Heads up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes. Dia seeing the waiters, she clears her throat again, raises it enough to carry. You two, bring refreshments.
Heads up, we got bikers incoming. They looked armed too, unlike before.
Zach grabs his knife, but keeps his hand and blade sheathed in the event that he has to defend himself. It's clear that he is ready to defend himself if need be.
Well, B needs, as having worked in and around the less posh, having been with and in congregation of the rough and ready sort. After all, music is the great central means of entertainment for a wide swath of the community. And the Rosie is just far enough out into the wilderness, Thornton Township, that attracts all sorts. Those sorts oftentimes very much being posers and would-be tough guys, but also very much so the people who follow through on their intentions. They're into violence, a thing to respect from a distance. In fact, knowing that one of the bikers' name is Ernie, memories of several instances of him and his crew of bikers clearing the first floor, clearing the bar once or twice, comes barreling back to Zach. They are definitely the sort to follow through on their intentions. Usually someone throws a sucker punch and then the fight is joined by their friends and associates. While those thoughts are rolling through Zach's head, and Frost is sliding just a little bit away so he won't have his shot queered, the servers fall in line, having come closer. Well, we have O negative, O positive. We have collected from under 21 and over 21. We have an A, B, and a negative A, B. We also have an RH positive. Is there a particular preference? Whiskey, scotch, vodka, marijuana, cocaine, methamphetamines, and ecstasy. The bar in the rear of the establishment, they also have during pregnancy, during menstrual cycle, during the height of depression, under care for a hip replacement. We understand that somehow in that, because of the age, it is sweetened and is considerably more mellow. We also have freshly donated soldier, and I believe, oh yes, we do. I'm looking here. It's not quite empty yet. We do have a very rarefied, and they look left and right, Ash Addict.
The brow and just mind boggled a little bit at the sheer amount of things that, but then remembering I had called them over. So that is all wonderful. But is it common practice for servers to scope out their potential as if looking for?
Oh, please forgive us. That is not our goal. There's nothing wrong with you specifically, but, and then they look at Rob. He looks amazingly like our manager. He looks like the male, larger, stretched out version of our manager. And I don't believe that too many people, but that Rob stands up, who the hell is your manager?
Frost can't help but smirk at that comment.
The moment Rob stands up, the bikers open fire.
Oh.
what would Zach need to roll to try and get in front of Rob? Basically, Zach's quite literally trying to act as a shield. Even though I imagine he's pretty squishy compared to Rob.
So you're moving to step in front of Frost? Or the waiter?
Wait, they're shooting at me or Rob? Or both?
I'm trying to get Zach in front of the range of fire.
What is Zach's highest celerity discipline?
Highest celerity? The only ability in that discipline he has is Cat's Grace.
Okay, well, that being the case, would you be so kind as to roll your dexterity athletics? Target number is 4.
Okay. Dexterity plus athletics.
There are just some times where fate conspires against one's better angels. Moving forward, as the shells tear through Zach's clothing and flesh, and he realizes why he dislikes physical violence. The shells, as they tear through, remind him that even with all of immortality stretching out before most kindred, they are fools. And stepping in front of Rob, you keep most of the shells from actually piercing. However, Rob is considerably larger than Zach, so a few scrape past, punctured through, and otherwise continue on their path. You keep all of the vital organs from being hit on Rob, but unfortunately interspersing yourself between bullets and their intended target means that you become the target.
Wait, do I need to roll something else? Or... see just how much abuse Zach took.
Oh no, you were successful, and so that's a... Though Zach is perforated by several shells, it bounces out to you only taking the damage of the fire, which is in this case 3 superficial, and you have it for how many health levels you actually absorb. No good deed goes unpunished, as the saying goes. As that's happening, while Frost is standing mouth agape and open,
Well, I feel like he would. Well, no, actually, he's debating on just letting. This sounds effed up, but he's debating in his head to just let Rob die or get taken for Dia's reputation. but also if we're not seen defending one of our own allies, why am I? Never mind. I'm so. I feel like Frost would open up fire.
Firing from the hip. Would you be so kind to go ahead and roll your dexterity and fire him from?
Yes, let me. Where I just had it up. Mother trigger. That is not the right answer.
Opening up fire. It's surprising how quick Kendrick can move when they so choose. Zach was closer to Dia. Now he's standing in front of Rob. Those Kendrick were dead to rights, nearly halfway across the floor. You should have hit them, but instead they managed to kick chairs and tables up between you and the shelves and take evasive maneuver, ducking and dodging, just out of sight. There's the horrible realization that the waiters who are talking to Dia take their tray and spin, slicing Rob. They don't go after Dia, but they spin and slice Rob with these silver trays. Him already having decided to move past Zach towards Ernie and his friend is caught completely flat-footed as this happens. Seth seems stronger. Seth seems deader. It seems like it shouldn't be a possibility of a undead thing looking far more deceased, yet that is exactly what takes over Seth. He's paler. He seems more monstrous. And the fight is joined because there are shots being fired from backstage as Dwayne makes his way towards the gunfire. Fuck meat cluster. Cluster. Fuck.
Frost can. He'll take aim and fire again.
And would it be possible for Zach to continue basically moving around the coterie, trying to make sure everybody takes as little damage as possible? Of course, I'm not sure Zach's close enough to anybody shooting at them to actually slash them, so sticking Zach on human shield duty for now. Again, if Zach's still able to do this.
I can't wait till Frost is a vampire. You doing that?
So Zach would like to put himself between the bullets and the coterie. Not address the two servers who slashed Rob.
Okay, so the servers are close enough.
Yes, DM called them closer, and as the shots began and their sales spiel ended, they slashed out with their silver trays. The smell of cordite is one that you all will never forget.
Okay, since the servers are close enough, thinking that Zach's gonna aim for a non-lethal slash. Or it's the server who slashed Rob.
Would you be so kind as to go ahead for dexterity and melee?
Okay, dexterity plus melee.
And Frost, would you be so kind as to go ahead and resolve and firearms, please? Well, now, so several things happen at this, as they usually do in situations such as this. Frost takes up an immediate instinct to return fire. It's more of a suppressing fire at this distance, with Dwayne firing from the opposite end. They're doing their best to stay beneath cover and just out of sight as they fire around the side of the table and around the stage, popping the gun up over top and just firing blindly. As they do so, Rob is attempting to dance between raindrops, or in this case, the hail of molten lead designed to end anything that is moving. The slashes they received were cauterized, and there's a smoking scent of burning dead flesh as he ignores the slashes, establishing a distance between him and the servers, rushing across to put hands, better yet, boots, on the individuals firing at him. The servers are not as skilled at receiving punishment versus dishing it out. And Zach, what's your strength?
Strength is 2. Sorry about that.
Okay, so that'd be 4. Unfortunately, ghouls and humans treat bladed weapons like aggravated, so that it's not halved. It's a little damage on the immune system. That 4 puts one of the servers on death's door. The other, just a few scrapes across the knuckle. They use trade to block the incoming slash from Zach as they close this far faster than one would expect. Rob is perforated again by the wildfire and unfortunately friendly fire by Dwayne, who's firing from backstage. Ernie's associate pops his head around the corner, taking a glancing rays from Frost as his vitae goes flying like something out of an anime. And suddenly, Seth is gone. He was there to Frost, right? And now, not. In fact, he's roughly 5 feet to Frost's left, and using the table there and chair as cover as he waits, lines up a shot, and fires. Now, there's Kismet, there's lucky happenstance, and then there is what this is. Almost perfectly so that there weren't nearly as many kindred in the line of fire. This moment kicked off. There weren't nearly as many kindred then range to help or be hinder what is taking place. Those of you who are politically minded would again have that feeling, putting flowers at your grave. So once we're just going to average out Seth's firearm. Seth is still in transit. While that's happening, would you be so kind, Frost, to roll composure plus firearm? No, I'm sorry, you didn't get to cover, so yes, it would resolve to withstand the sheer hand-soaking understanding that you're armor or not, you're standing in the open shot, so that's resolve plus firearms for you. And Zach, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll strength plus melee once more?
Sorry, what am I rolling?
Strength plus melee.
Strength plus melee?
Yes.
You said resolve plus firearms, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, finally, I rolled good.
All right. Well, everyone has seen action, read moments of frenetic action, and unfortunately for Kindred, lived any modicum of time, they've been involved in situations where there's been a hurried pace of frenetic action. This is one of those moments, like a summer storm popping up out of. There was a hail of bullets and the flash of blades, and much like that surprise summer storm, those sudden showers that come up out of nowhere on just as quickly. Ernie and his associate are being torn to shreds by Rob, breaking limb from torso, both upper and lower, in frustration as Seth waits and pauses and Ernie sticks his head up. He ceases to be. His falling causes his friend to expose himself, and Frost drops him like a bad habit. The worst sort of dropping. It is messy and painful. And if they were human, it'd be that quick, immediate, one moment they were alive, the next they were dead. Fortunately, they're kindred. So as debilitating as it is nowhere nearly as deadly as it should be. However, in their quick exposure and them dealing with the shock of missing various matters such as good old gray stuff, as well as the cartilage that helps form the trachea, Dwayne fired shots from where he was, ending them. The waiters caught off guard, one laying and bleeding out, the other attempting to shield himself with the tray, realizes that even the lowest of combat monsters amongst the kindred are a deadly combatant to have to face. And Zach, aiming in only the less lethal areas, still is wielding a blade designed for cutting, slicing, separating one portion thing. And in their actions, they separate the waiters from their idea at continued existence. All too soon, the matter was over, done. All too soon, there were bodies that needed removed. All too soon, the idea that those aiming to protect Naomi, to serve Naomi's honor, to offer a alternate theory of events, laying dead, being removed to the back to be taken elsewhere and discarded of. The other kindred who waited out the hail bullets and blood, now free to move about the establishment, questions being asked, assumptions being made. There, for those of you with any political understanding, you understand immediately. If there was no nail in the coffin before, this is all of the coffin nails, and it was speed assembled. If this was a Camarilla city, there'd be one outcome, and that'd be staked out for the sun. As it stands, there's a lot to consider. And with those thoughts weighing on our Dalton, we can take a 10-minute. It is 22 after the hour, and we'll see you guys back here at 32. Thanks so much. Welcome back, everybody. Is everybody back?
I'm here.
Yep. Me and the thunderstorm are back.
It's just Thor practicing some throat singing.
I don't want to say where that took my brain. I really don't.
We are all mostly adults. So the investigation is fairly up. Fingers are pointed. Ideas and thoughts are put. Murmurs of hypothesis and supposition. Again, without a shadow of a doubt, their needs thing. Dia, would you be so kind as to roll intelligence plus etiquette as well, Zach? Would you be so kind as to roll wits plus investigation, and the same for you, Seth.
Okay, what am I rolling?
Intelligence plus etiquette.
Crap baskets.
Wait, was there a roll I'm supposed to make? Sorry.
There was.
Sorry. Can you?
That's fine. We'll just, no, that's fine. We'll just keep it moving. So, Seth, you are immediately aware as to occasions of such action. No one with any semblance of intelligence would have done as much. Because while it could have been helpful in taking out your coterie, there still wouldn't have accomplished anything except for adding a body to the series of crimes laid against Naomi. As it stands, being a failure at the hit attempt is an exponentially increase of the feeling and gossips of guilt towards Naomi. The crime itself isn't bad, but the attempt at cover-up makes it so much worse. Zach, this is the reason why you hate the idea, or have been taught to hate the idea of being anywhere near Camarilla or Camarilla-esque happening. It is this organized functionality and ordered chaos. One dog attempting to eat another, and all the same. The only thing that happens is that bystanders end up dead. Dia, there's no way that this isn't a setup of the shape fashion. This is beyond the pale. There has never been such a garish, upfront attempt at violence against a sitting senator. The very fact that this was aimed at a level that you so carelessly makes your blood. And not for the reasons that most would assume. Makes your blood boil because you must have to do damage control. Because as duplicitous as the average kindred is, it's always the quiet ones you have to watch. You and your cabinet have been positively silent.
Dia is very carefully trying to compose himself. Not only were they shot at, their clothes are now dirty and ruffled, and they almost lost Zach. It's not been a good night. They fixed their hair back into place, and square their shoulders and realize that they have to speak up for their coterie, because this is not okay. And even if they weren't the true targets of this, it would have been unacceptable collateral damage. So they're going to look for the other senators and leaders and walk over to that group.
Okay, that's easy enough. Easier done than said. Now, find yourself in the middle of already in low conversations as all of the cleaning is being done, tables are being reset, and what have you. The remaining servers being corralled and questioned. And the view looks to you. My, aren't you lucky? And Felix interjects, lucky indeed.
I wouldn't call being shot at luck. It was only luck that they were incompetent and missed. I don't know if this is normal for your meetings as senators. This is my first meeting and it's gone horribly, so I would assume this is new.
Normally the assassination attempts are done with words. This is the first of such an instance. I believe that you, Naomi, are quite desperate. Quite indeed. Of course, if this was truly your first meeting of us, being one of us, yes, one of us, the newest senator, I would probably to ensure that you not personally behind. Oh, but of course you don't. Entertainers keep such interesting company. They pause, looking at Seth, at Rob, Frost, and Zach across the room.
I am gorgeous. Thank you very much.
Yes, quite interesting. Such a motley band.
While motley they may be, they are talented in what it is that they do, and they have more saved my life and others' lives than I can count on my fingers. What is it that your cabinets do for you?
Well, so someone's maybe, more than likely. There's no way that one singular entity would be able to take out Jack. Yes, that was a targeted assassination. No, an assassination. That is quite a high, lofty aim. Why wouldn't you say murder? Murder is for those who don't have any standing. Assassination. Yes, by that terminology, it most assuredly assassinated. I wonder who could have profited by such an assassination. Always for profit as well.
Well, seeing as I've had to have the Pescateers Lounge closed for 2 evenings, I have profited nothing but trouble. So...
Oh yes, trouble does seem to follow. Indeed, I heard your visit to the appropriately timed so that you were there to assist your sire. Yes, I did hear that. By the way, how many other kindred have due to your races? No, Dia does not have those sorts of inclinations, but I beg to differ. Look at her manservant there, standing bristling with weapons. Yes. Too bad they weren't quite as useful as the savagery. Yes. Of course I do. Such poor language. The dirty sip. Yes, the dirty sip indeed. Made me think that perhaps they frequented those sorts of clubs. Oh, you mean like the Piscateers? Those out-of-the-way, sordid sort of establishments.
You know, I'm curious sometimes about you two.
Are you saying, I believe she is, that we stay on your mind? That you think of it? Oh, to be in someone's thoughts is an enviable position. In their thoughts, in their pants even. These are, well, they were former jags and they fit me so much better. I, of
No,
course, don't
there's
have
only
the hips to
one.
make them shine.
Particular thought, whether it's warm and hot with your heads up each other's asses.
Oh, I see. That is quite lewd. Yes, so what do you expect? They are, after all, part of that clan. Clan of Roses. I didn't believe they were such. Oh, but that is the reputation they have. Such hedonists. Always the... Dia entertained, engaged with a battle of wits and will, you and Felix. Anyone wants to do anything.
Nick is looking down at his outfit, which Dia lent him, and is silently cursing to himself. It was a very nice outfit, and it was something Dia gave him, which of course between two toreadors has a lot more significance than it would have between most. And he is really disappointed in himself right now that he let such a nice outfit be effectively ruined.
The weight of that consideration calls forth the idea of having the ensemble prepared, of reaching out to the higher echelon tailors, seamstresses, and designers across the region across the state, across the country even, to ensure that the ensemble can be aired to write, cleaned, repaired, modified so that the perforations and bullets either add to ensemble flame or are otherwise unnoticeable. Lost in thought as Zach is, there's no denying this hint of cologne that wafts into his. Their head snaps up, and they see with Drew in tow. Lothair, of course, being Drew's sire, technically making their Zach's grandsire. Drew doesn't approve and does everything he can to speak against his sire as often as possible. Because their sire is, while the major domo of a baron, they are not a baron themselves. And while being a major domo of a baron, it is clear they still maintain their tower affectations, helping members of the clan, no matter which sect they belong to, engaging in all but full-out covert operations.
Oh boy. Looks like Zacky Boy's in trouble. Either with one sect, the other, or both.
Well, with our real life issues taking place for both Dia and Seth, and with the story being truncated, I'd like us to continue by post, and thank you. A session, much considerations had, and then much interactions as we have managed. I know that Dia and Seth would like to be able to their interactions fully dive in as much as possible, but in light of everything, I think it's best for us to drop there and entering with Dia enmeshed in conversations with and Felix, and I will set several prompts up over the course of the next few days so that we can continue this particular episode. Good night, everybody. Thanks so much.
Night. Sorry if I'm loud. Alrighty. Night, everyone.